We move up now to the front left quadrant of the psyche. Up here we have the powers of G and Z. I'll start with G. That, as an IG, that's the power I have consciously. The hand sign for G is the open hand touched to the left front part of the psyche. The color coding for G is red, having to do with loyalty and passion, things of that nature. The symbol for G is the social alchemy symbol, which is a colon, plus sign, and colon. You'll learn more about social alchemy in the future. The power of G is focused on the concept of the people for the psyche. Some keywords that are associated with G are sense of community and personal connection, social awareness and personal consideration, integrity and code of conduct, tribal relationships and cultural dynamics, interpersonal relationships and group dynamics, etiquette and diplomacy, team building and shepherding, rituals and collective values, charm and persuasion, human relationships and dynamics. Because G is focused on the concept of people for the psyche and the powers that go along with it, it gives off the distinct signal of caring. There are two mojos that use G as their source power. These are the G Nai and the G Vi. They are the G Alpha because G is their source power. The other power in the front left quadrant of the psyche is Z. Z focuses on the concept of the system for the psyche. Z has as a hand sign the closed hand touched to the front left quadrant of the psyche. Z is color-coded as gold, and Z has its symbolic representation as the numeric symbol, because Z is often interested in sequencing and organizing in a numeric, logic-based fashion. Some keywords that are associated with Z are thirst for challenge and ambition, directness and efficiency, authoritativeness and decisiveness, assessment and strategizing, planning and organizing, scheduling and sequencing, protocol implementation and SOP enforcement, systemic logic and going for the win, straightforwardness and forcefulness, systemic relationships and dynamics. Because Z is focused on the concept of the system for the psyche and the powers that go along with it, it gives off the distinct signal of bracing. The two mojos that use Z as their source power are the Z Nai and the Z Vi. They have it as their source power, and therefore they're called the Z Alpha. We'll now go over to the right rear quadrant of the psyche. There are two powers that are located there. One is Zai and the other is Jai. We'll begin with Zai, which is the power I have consciously. Zai is color-coded as steel gray. The hand sign for Zai is the closed hand touched to the right rear quadrant of the psyche. The symbol for Zai is the equal sign, which means something to do with being at balance in a mathematical sense. Zai is focused on the concept of perfection for the psyche. Some keywords associated with Zai are clarity and lucidity, precision and accuracy, dispassion and purity, diagnostics and experimentation, principle understanding and customizing, situational logic and analysis, refining and sharpening, optimizing and perfecting, calibrating and rectifying, reactive theorizing and deductive reasoning. Because Zai is focused on the concept of perfection for the psyche and the powers that go along with that, it gives off the distinct signal of unflappable. There are two mojos that use Zai as their source power. These are the Zai Ni and the Zai Vi. They are the Zai Alpha. As I said, there's another power in the right rear quadrant of the psyche, which is Jai, a power I have unconsciously. The power of Jai is color-coded as pink. Jai is represented symbolically with the at symbol, which means being at peace or at harmony. And Jai is focused on the concept of harmony for the psyche. Some key words associated with Jai are hope and expectancy, idealism and sentiment, virtue and purity, gut reaction and acid testing, essence reading and attuning, empathy and communing, resonating and internalizing, conviction and investment, devotion and sacrifice, personal values and moral compass. Because Jai is focused on the concept of harmony for the psyche and the powers that go with it, it gives off the distinct signal of poignant. There are two mojos that use Jai as their source power, their top power. These two mojos are the Jai Ni and the Jai V. These are known as the Jai Alpha. We'll move up now to the front right quadrant of the psyche. Up here we have two powers, which are V and Ni. We'll begin with V, as it is the power I have consciously. V has as its hand sign the closed hand touched to the right front part of the psyche. V is color-coded as green. The symbol for V is the double asterisk symbol, which deals with the kinetic zzz energy that V gives off. V is focused on the concept of reality for the psyche. Some key words associated with V are five senses and sensory stimulation, alertness and environment scanning, present-mindedness and in the moment, visceral and hyperized experience, sensual and connoisseur experience, aesthetic and ecstatic experience, kinetic energy and galvanization, zest for life and exuberance, animal magnetism and stage presence, concrete existence and corporeality. V, as it is focused on the concept of reality and the powers that go with it, gives off the distinct signal of amped. There are two mojos that use V as their source power, their top power, and these are the V Jai and the V Zai. These are the V Alpha. The other power that is located in the front right quadrant of the psyche is Ni. The hand sign for Ni is the open hand touched to the right front quadrant of the psyche. Ni is color-coded as purple. The symbolic representation for Ni is the double question mark because of the insatiable curiosity that Ni has. The power of Ni focuses on the concept of possibility for the psyche. Some keywords associated with the power of Ni include sixth sense and imminent potentiality, abstraction and getting the gist, brainstorming and idea generation, cross-contextualizing and idea juggling, optimism and risk-taking, trend tracking and storm chasing, riffing and improvising, pattern surfing and bridge building, creative energy and contagious enthusiasm, playful imagination and change initiation. Because Ni is focused on the concept of possibility of the psyche and the powers that go with that, it gives off the distinct signal of buoyancy. There are two mojos that use Ni as their source power, and these are the Ni Jai and the Ni Zai. These are known as the Ni Alpha. Now that you've been introduced to the 8 powers of the psyche and the distinct signals that go with them, you've only just scratched the surface, but you should be able to start seeing something if you're talented and very committed to learning this truth. So I want you to go to the virtual village, and I want you to start with taking the mojos that you see there, and you'll find out what their source power is, their first power. It's the first one listed, is the largest one in the beginning. You're going to take that power and see if you can't see this distinct signal we're talking about, especially when you look at like all 10 in a row, 10 or more in a row, and see if you don't start seeing a similarity between those mojos. I want you to note that now. You should notice something, and we're going to revisit this a few episodes down the line and see if you don't have an even stronger connection. But right now we're just going to waken up that connection. So check it out, and once you see that it's there and that there's a pattern specifically related to the pod powers and these distinct signals, you should then obviously want to learn the rest of the theory. If you don't see it, keep looking. Keep looking until you see it, because that's your gateway. That's your gateway into the rest of the theory. So stay there until your psyche can pull off that maneuver. Then you move on.